When I found out that he was her new teacher's aide, I was obviously very hurt and confused. I asked her why she would want to spend extra time with someone who made my life so terrible. So my 16-year-old self, my mom who is in her 40s, is a teacher at my school. Our school has a special elective you can take, which is being a teacher's aide during your elective period. It is mostly stuff like grading papers for them, making copies, mentoring, and so on. It is pretty much always just the teacher's favorite student at the time. I found out at the beginning of the semester that my mom chose Dave, a 17-year-old, to be her teacher's aide. Dave has made my life a living nightmare since middle school. He has bullied me mercilessly both physically and emotionally since 6th grade. I do not want to get into everything he has done to me, but everyone is fully aware of it, including the school and my parents. There have been countless meetings with school administration and suspensions on his end, but it never stopped him. Since we have been in high school, I have not had to see him as much, which is a relief, but the times that I do are always terrible. When I found out that he was her new teacher's aide, I was obviously very hurt and confused. I asked her why would she want to spend extra time with someone who made my life so terrible? She said that she had him in one of her classes and that he really is not such a bad kid. But he has a really terrible home life that she cannot tell me about that makes him act out. For the record, my mom has always had a soft spot for kids who come from bad homes. I reminded her of all the things he had done to me, and she said that she understands, but he really needs help right now. I told her I get that, but why does it have to be you? We have a huge school full of teachers and staff who can mentor him. Why does it have to be you? She told me to stop being selfish, and some kids have it harder than I can imagine, and she is just trying to help. I was honest with her and told her that if she continued to have him as her aide, she was dead to me. She was choosing him over me, and she would no longer be my mother. I would no longer talk to her, and the minute I turned 18, I was moving out and she would never hear from me again. She rolled her eyes and said I was being dramatic, but after a couple of days of ignoring her, I was grounded. It did not change my mind, and my dad then tried to force me to talk to her. I still refused, so they pretty much took everything away from me one by one for the past few weeks. I no longer have my car, computer, guitar, and most recently my art supplies, and I have to come home from school and go straight to my room, and am not allowed out except dinner until I start talking to her again. They do not realize that this is just strengthening my resolve. I am going to sit in this empty room every day silently until I am 18, and they will never see me again. My mom keeps coming and crying and begging me to talk to her, which makes me feel kind of bad, but she still will not remove Dave as her aide. Am I taking this too far? I just feel so betrayed. Update. I am sorry I stopped answering everyone's questions. I just kind of freaked out when this blew up out of nowhere, and I almost deleted it a few times because I was scared someone at school would see it and recognize me. Everyone letting me know that it is not my fault helped a lot though, so I felt less embarrassed about someone I know potentially seeing it. Nothing has really changed, but a lot of you made a good point that if I am really going to go this route, then I need to come up with a plan for what I am going to do when I get out. I considered the military like some people suggested, but then I remembered my school has a special trade program. You go to our school for half a day, then spend the other half at our local community college taking trade classes. I think depending on what you are doing, you can get an associate degree or whatever certifications you need by the time you graduate. I went to my guidance counselor during lunch today and told her I wanted to switch to that program. She acted really surprised and asked why did I want to change now since I am already taking AP classes and am on the college track. I told her I did not want to talk about it, but I would need to be ready for independence when I graduated, and this seemed like the best way. She said it might be too late to change this semester, but she would look into it for me and let me know. Comment 1. Since the school already knows about the problem, have you considered talking to a trusted teacher or guidance counselor? I realize that these are her colleagues, however, I think they might be able to talk some sense into her. Her failing you reflects not only her inability to be a good parent, but also on skills she needs as a teacher. I do not think you should suffer in silence. Shame her if you have to. You are not the antagonist, however. Neither of your parents deserves to have a child. Comment 2. She got one of my teachers to pull me aside and try to convince me to forgive her. He said all that crap about only having one mom and whatnot. When he stopped talking, I asked if he was done and just left the classroom. As for other teachers, I do not really know who I could talk to. I am a pretty quiet person and do not really form any close bonds with any of my teachers like some kids do. Comment 3. You are not the antagonist. It seems like your mother, rather than helping him improve, is learning how to bully you. Info. Is your father not seeing the damage being done to your family by all this? Why is he okay with her being a teacher's aide for your bully, and is it more important than your well-being? It seems like they have more empathy towards that bully but not their own son. Frankly, if I could, I will surely go no contact with such parents. They already know what they are doing is wrong, but their superiority complex will not let them admit it. I do not think writing a letter will help your cause. OP, my dad is kind of in the middle. He understands why I am upset, but thinks I am taking it too far by refusing to talk to her. I know he has tried talking my mom into dropping Dave, but I think he just thinks it would be easier to control me than her. Update 2. To everyone who said my mom was sleeping with Dave, you were right. Just kidding, you all are weirdos and watch too much pornography. A lot has actually happened since last week, and while nothing is really fixed, I think things are going in the right direction. On Friday, I got called out of class to the guidance counselor. When I got there, my mom and the assistant principal were there as well. The counselor asked me to sit down and said that me changing tracks from college to trade, like I mentioned in my last post, was a big decision, and she wanted to sit down with my mom and me to figure out if this really was the best for my future. She first asked me if I would fully explain why I wanted to switch. I explained the whole situation from my perspective and about how I was being punished. I said that if this is how I was going to be treated from now on, I wanted to become independent as soon as possible, and going to college would have me relying on my parents for longer than I would like. She then asked my mom if she had anything she would like to add. My mom tried to downplay the whole situation at first and make it look like I was just being stubborn and disrespectful. But as the counselor asked her more questions, it became pretty clear that my side was the truth. After this, the assistant principal stepped in and said that a teacher's aide was not worth all of this turmoil, and that Dave would be switched with another teacher. The counselor then asked me if this would help me to start working things out with my mom. I said not really, because it was not even her choice and she has not even admitted she has done anything wrong. She then asked my mom if she was willing to apologize for anything that had happened. My mom gave a half-hearted apology where she said things had gone overboard and she never meant to hurt me so much. The counselor asked if I would like to apologize for anything as well, and I said not really, but nobody pressed me on it. The counselor then said about my transfer, it was too late for this semester. What she suggested is that my mom and I and possibly my dad should go to a family counselor for the rest of the semester. I would stay in my current classes, my parents would give me all my stuff back, and we could see if we can come to some kind of peace before next semester. She then asked my mom that if after that I still had not changed my mind, would she accept the class changes. My mom said no at first because she wanted me to go to college, but I told her that she had already failed me as a mother once. Please do not do it again. She got really quiet and said she would agree to it if that was what I really wanted. When I got home, all my stuff was returned to me. I also started talking to my mom again. I just kind of felt like there was not a point to ignoring her anymore. I do not treat her like a mother or anything anymore, but I will answer her if she asks me a question. It just feels like that now that I have a plan. A lot of my anger is gone, and I just see her as a person who happens to live in my house. We have not scheduled our first counseling session yet, but I do not see it changing much anyway. The damage is done, so I do not see myself changing my mind. That is pretty much it. I probably will not update again unless something crazy happens or something. Thank you to everyone who gave me good advice. Comment 1. Update us when you graduate, or let us know how the trade route goes. Or update us once you finish the semester. We are all here cheering you on. Honestly, I am glad that you got your stuff back, but it is wild to me that it took your assistant principal saying, "What the heck? This is not worth it," to switch out Dave. I think your plan is good. The fact that your mom has not apologized speaks volumes. I will not count the half-hearted apology. Comment 2, wow, that is a kick-ass counselor. I am impressed. Like, shoot, I have to be the adult here, really? So, Mom, you are wrong. You were supposed to be a professional and you had to disappoint your own kid? Gross. You are off. Hey kid with potential, have your stuff back and please be a better person than your mom. Like me. P, thanks for the update. I wished your mom was smarter. Your school counselor is awesome. Freaking by far the best I ever heard of. And you should stick with your plans. I do not think there will be a counselor in college to put your parents in their places. I have read too many Reddits of parents threatening to not pay for their kids' college. If you cut their wings sooner, perhaps you will not have to endure Thanksgiving, Christmas, and birthdays being trapped with their plans.